Let's get into some shite. All right, folks, welcome to the Outta Toon podcast. I'm your host, Rick. I'm going to be chatting with you a little bit as long as I don't start coughing. You know, it's allergy season, and the older I get, the more I get affected by allergies. And everything was great, going really well here at this introduction. And then like seconds before the music stopped, I felt this tickle. I got to start coughing. So I haven't, but I try not to. I did bring up in the studio today a little thing of Guinness. Now, I don't drink a whole lot, really, and certainly not during the podcast. But I did have one Guinness left in the fridge, so I grabbed it. It's May Day, after all, today, May 1st. And I'm not celebrating May Day, but it's a European holiday, right? And so Guinness is kind of European beer, I guess, sort of, really, kind of. We pretend like it is, and so I'm gonna be kind of this. It's my anti-allergy serum, we'll say. How you doing out there? How you feeling on this May Day, on this 1st of May? Now my birthday is over. My birthday was a few days ago, and I wanted to smoke a cigar on my birthday. I didn't do it. I didn't get around to it. I don't know that it wasn't a conscious thing. It wasn't like I was saying I'm just not going to smoke a cigar. It just didn't happen this year. Do I get to save that up and use it for another time? And I'd be just like, I was supposed to do this on my birthday, and I didn't. So I'm going to do it in September, when it's best to smoke cigars. September, October is good cigar season, in my opinion. Anyway, I didn't do that. Didn't do a whole lot for my birthday. My Betty birthday is over. The Betty birthday was a whole year of all the people born in 1962. We're 62 years old. That's the Betty birthday. So now the next one comes next year. All the babies born in 63 will be, is that true? Will be 63 years old next year. Something like, I think that's how, it's every 2 years the Betty birthdays happen. Something, I don't know. Anyway, maybe it's yours, but when does yours happen? The people born in 2012, theirs has already happened. It happened in 2000. It happened when they turned 12. So everybody gets a different time. I always kind of feel bad for the people born in the zeros and the ones. They don't really ever get to know it. Okay, so just a quick warning. This is an explicit show. I don't do a lot of explicit shows. And as far as I know, there's only been one podcast, one show that I did that was explicit, and that was when we had Sherry Brown as a guest. And wouldn't you know, it's going to happen. Today, I got to talk about something today, which I don't consider it explicit, but I think all the podcast distributors will. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it explicit. So just be prepared for that. If you don't like explicit stuff, I'm just warning you. All right. I think it's okay. I think we're going to be fine, but I just want to let you know. Okay. Here's something I did last week. I'm still reeling from it. I have a kind of an equal dose of pride and shame from this. And so my wife and I, it was on my birthday, actually. No, it was a day or two before my birthday. We went to a trivia thing here in Atlanta. We went to a little restaurant, a little pub here, has a trivia night. We don't do that a lot, but we have some friends who do, and we decided to go with them. And we figure 4 people doing trivia is going to be better than just 2, right? So maybe we'll have a chance at winning this thing. And I don't know. I used to be pretty good at trivia. As I've gotten older, I forgot everything. I don't know anything anymore. So I don't know that I'm that useful in trivia, but my wife's pretty smart. So I think together and all of us all four of us, my friends and us, I think we were pretty good. I think we did okay. Anyway, we all worked pretty well together. Some things we just didn't get, but we did okay. And then they asked the question as one of the later questions. And the question was, the topic was sports. And the question was, which NFL team lost all of their games in 1976? Now, I'm not a sports person. I don't know a whole lot about sports. But the first thing that I thought of during that time was I remembered that when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers became a franchise, I remember they lost all their games. So I just said Tampa Bay Bucks. And my friends were like, we don't know. We'll trust you, okay? Let's just say Tampa Bay. So they put it, and then I was like, I don't know. In 76, was Tampa Bay in 76? I feel like maybe they were in the 80s or something. I don't know, but I couldn't remember. And I started like kind of, I don't know. I was getting a little nervous about my answer. But anyway, everybody said, let's do Tampa Bay. So I said, all right. I took the sheet to the announcer person, and right before I turned it in, I was like, no, it's not Tampa Bay. I know it's not. So I thought I'm going to go back and tell them, let's do a different one. So I started to walk back, and then the time was almost up, and I was like, crap, I don't want to turn this in wrong. I don't want to be the cause of us losing this question. So I started thinking, I know what it is. 76 was the bicentennial. So what would the irony? The irony would be if the Philadelphia Eagles lost all of their games at the bicentennial year. That's what it was. That's what this whole thing is about. So I changed my answer from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to Philadelphia because I just knew. And then I was like, here's what's going to happen is I'm going to sit down and they're going to say the Philadelphia Eagles. And everybody that I'm sitting with is going to be like, dang it, we lost. And I'm going to be like, no, you didn't, because I changed the answer to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I was going to bring that kind of like happy joy to everyone with my wonderful changed answer. So I came out quiet, didn't tell anybody. And I came out and I sat down, and the announcer came on and says, the answer is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Only one team got it. And everyone at my table stood up and cheered and said, yes, we're the only team that got the answer correct. And I was trying my best to slide under the table. Oh, man. And I had to say, hold on, don't celebrate yet. I changed our answer. I changed it. And everybody looked at me with this look like I was kidding or something. And I was like, no, I changed. And they were like, why did you didn't ask permission? Why did you change? I thought I was going to get beat up at the table. It was all women. And I thought they were all going to kick my ass. And they could have too. They should have. I changed. I can say ass on this podcast because this is an explicit episode. They had to kick my ass. Can you believe that? I changed my answer. I could have been a hero. I didn't know what it was. It was just something that immediately I thought Tampa Bay. But it would have made me look like I was so smart, and instead, no one's going to want to play trivia with me ever again. Oh, that's a lesson, people. Don't change your answer. Ask everybody at the table before you change. Don't do it on your own. I've never done that before. I deserved it. Oh, man. That was bad. That was really, really bad. I wanted to drink a lot at that point. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Tampa Bay Bucks. So next time you have trivia, something to realize, Tampa Bay is the team that lost in 1976. All of their games. See, I was thinking there was the 80s, but it wasn't. The 80s were like the newer, like Carolina Panthers, and I can't remember who the other expansion team was at the time. Back in the 70s, it was Seattle Seahawks and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I remember when they came in, I thought Tampa Bay had a great uniform. It looked really, really cool. And then they lost every game. Little did I know, in 1976, when I was a freshman in high school, I think, or 8th grade, one of the two, I don't remember. Little did I know one day that would come back and get me when I was old. Oh. All right, well, let's forget about it. Things happen, right? Things happen. Hey, how you doing out there? How's your life? Have you been playing trivia? Have you been playing any kind of games where you're feeling good about yourself? Because that's what it's all about, right? It's all about feeling good about yourself. Let me know how you're doing out there. Just drop me a line and say, I'm doing good. You know, I'm feeling good. Rick at outtatoon.com, OUTTATOON.com. That's my email. And you could say hi if you want to. I'm totally fine with that. I just like to know that if you're listening. Mike was listening last week. He asked for all of the Life in a Kill podcast stickers that I have. So I'm going to send him a batch. I don't know that I can send him all of them because I don't even know where they all are, but I do have a bunch of them. As I said, there's a stack right here in front of me, and all those are going out to Mike. I don't know what he's going to do with them. He's going to put them on his car, I think. You could like plaster your entire car with Life in a Kill podcast stickers, I guess. We also have a listener line here, 678-348-0008. You can call that listener line, leave a message, and then just tell me anything you want, and I'll put it. You just go ahead and tell me that Philadelphia won or lost all their games in 76. Made me feel better, I think. But anyway, you could call that number, and I'll put you on the podcast. You'll be a part of the podcast. So those are good things, right? There's always good news in this world if you think about it. When I was a young man, when I was a youngster, when I was, I don't know exactly when this happened. I'm going to say it was either high school or early college, okay? I think it was probably very late high school when I found this book. And, oh my goodness, I didn't write the name of the book down. I'll look up the book later. I don't even know that it's that important. But the book was called something similar to Sexual Intimacy in the Christian Marriage. This, I'm telling you, is going to be the explicit part. I'm just letting you know this right now. Sexual Intimacy in the Christian Marriage. Now, I found this book at a flea market, I think, something like that. Now, when I was a kid, I was like a big reader. I just liked to read anything and everything. And I loved books that were kind of based on religion. And I liked books that were based on psychology. And this was sort of a combination of both. It was a book about communicating in marriage. And it wasn't like explicit sex, but it just talked about some sexual things and how to communicate and how to do things sexually when you were married. Maybe that was the thing that attracted me to it. I don't know. I don't remember. But I remember it was a well-written book. And I thought it had some good ideas. And I thought it approached a subject that I normally thought was a little bit scandalous. And at that age, I hadn't seen a whole lot of books that, other than women with no shirts on. But I hadn't seen a whole lot of books that just kind of took that subject and, made it normal, talked about it, just kind of, it was more of a practical thing. So that was good. And I don't know, I liked it. Thought it was a great book. It was one of my favorite books at the time. I didn't tell people it was my favorite book, but I enjoyed it. Sexual Intimacy in a Christian Marriage. It was written by Herbert J. Miles. Okay. I remember that name. I don't know why. It's stuck in my head. So anyway, fast forward many, many years later, and I'm in college, and I'm dating a girl, and we are pondering engagement at the time. She was an international student. She lived in, she was born and raised in Okinawa. And so she was staying, I think, at one of the holiday seasons when she couldn't go home for fall break. She stayed with the international host family. They kind of took her in and took care of her. And so at one point she came to me and said, I've been talking to this person and he wants to counsel you for pre-marriage. That's what we called it, pre-marriage. And I was like, sure, okay. And he was I don't know, he wasn't a preacher. He was a counselor. I will just say he was a counselor. And so she said he would like for you to make an appointment with him and come in and talk to him about whatever you talk about with pre-marriage. And I was like, sure, okay. So I did that. Came in, guy was very pleasant, older guy. He was retired from the college that we went to, used to be a very popular professor, but he retired. And one of his things, I think he and his wife kind of took care of the international program. And then when he retired, they still sort of continued to do that. They were a sponsor. So with this connection, I came over and he did some counseling. And just asked me a lot of questions and gave me some advice. And one of the things that I remember that he talked to me about was, he said, now it's very important for you to keep her pure for the wedding. You know what I'm talking about. And we hadn't done anything anyway, so that hadn't been an issue. And I was like, okay, sure, that's fine. And then he starts telling me of the importance of self-pleasure. And he starts telling me that it's totally okay to masturbate. There's nothing wrong with this, he says. Now, this man is, I went to a Southern Baptist college. And this man was a religion professor. I think he taught counseling. He was an older guy. He was in his 70s, I'm guessing, maybe early 70s. And here's this man telling me that it's pretty much okay to beat off whenever I want to. And I had never had any grown person tell me that in my life. And it had the effect of getting rid of thousands of pounds of guilt that had been stored in me and on me since the time I was perhaps 14 years old, doing stuff that I was convinced made Jesus cry. And you don't, there's nowhere to go to talk about that, right? You don't go talk to your parents. I should have been able to talk to my dad, I guess, but that one, you don't know my dad. So that couldn't have happened. And you don't go talk about it at church. There's nothing you could do. What do? You just feel guilty about it for years and years and years. And then you go, I'm in college now, and I still have that guilt carrying around for many, many years. And now here is a person who is a religious leader in the city and at my college, and just a grown person, a retired, grown, distinguished person telling me that it's okay to play with myself. And it just opened up my mind. It opened up my life. It made me a freer person. What I found out later was that man was the same man who wrote that book that I loved so much. Dr. Herbert J. Miles, whose book I read several times and loved it, was now telling me it's okay to play with myself. And I just loved the book even more. So Here's what I believe. I don't know. We live in a different time. We live in a different era. I don't even know if kids struggle with that anymore. I don't even know if it's a thing. I know if you grow up in a church environment or a religious environment, it's probably still a thing. There's probably lots of guilt. But I just feel like there should be more people in the church saying, that's totally fine. Kids, do that. Go for it. It's your body. It feels good. Do it all you want to. There's nothing wrong with it. And you too can feel great about yourself. Anyway, I'd like to say thanks to Dr. Herbert J. Miles. He's been gone a long, long time. But the man changed my life. He was a very cool dude. And as you can imagine, he wasn't your typical... that's kind of my experience with religion. I know I have a totally different experience, but I grew up Southern Baptist. I grew up East Tennessee evangelical conservative Southern Baptist, but I never had that kind of really heavy judgmental presence in my life. And I have friends who just lived down the street from me who did, and it ruined their whole life, but I just never did. And so I ended up with more of a, at least growing up, more of a positive experience with religion. And so I got out of religion not because religion sucked, but just because I looked into it and saw different ways that made more sense to me. And so a lot of the people that I encountered early on in my days of religion and church and everything were cool people. I still, I would still consider them influences in my life, especially the ones that talked me to beat off. But yeah, I just feel like that should be something that more older people tell younger people. And I was thinking about this because I was scrolling through Instagram, and I passed through Sarah Silverman, who was doing an episode of her podcast, and she was talking about how more women should masturbate. That should be a lot of women are afraid to talk about it. And that's what reminded me of like when I was a kid. It's just like that freedom to just kind of look at that as like, it's your own body. Do what you want to. Abuse your body all that you want. And I feel like that's important. Okay. The explicit part, let's see. The explicit part is kind of over, sort of over. Since we are in an explicit episode, I'm going to do one more kind of explicit thing. But I would like to say we're going into some of our new features that we started last week. This is the Outta Toon Tune Up. This is where I kind of give you some advice. I don't even know why I'm not advice. I don't even know if I'm going to keep doing this because my advice is not worth anything other than play with yourself. Do that. That's my advice. Also, the advice of a Dr. Herbert J. Miles says, play with yourself. It's okay. But I'm giving you a new thing to kind of look at. I would just say challenge yourself every, let's just say once a week, to do something out of the box. Do something totally different from what you normally do, and make it a habit. I mean, actually think this week I'm going to do this. Or when you're doing it, think this is for this week. And what I mean by that is, listen to music, a piece of music you would never listen to if you hate country or rap or whatever. Listen to something that you never thought you would listen to. I know, I think I've said this on the podcast before, but a couple times I've listened to the artist Post Malone, who I never thought I would listen to anything, but I listened to him by accident, and I was like, wow, this is good. Who is this? And I looked it up, and I was like, I like this guy. This guy's good. And if I had, a lot of times I specifically try to listen to new things. I will just seek new music on Apple, or watch a movie that I never thought I would watch. It's just like, maybe it's got actors or it's a subject matter I wouldn't like, So do that. Just walk up to someone on the street and talk to them. Or go into a store that you normally wouldn't. Wear clothes that you would like. If you're a plumber, wear a 3-piece suit one day. just do something completely different, totally out of the box for you at least once a week, because it shifts the way you look at this world, and it makes the world bigger, and it expands your mind, and it's a lot of fun. So do that. All right, that's your Outta Toon Tune Up for this week. All right, so here's my little list of the things that made me laugh this week. Okay, I did a new T-shirt for myself, and that T-shirt made me laugh, and I'm going to explain how it happened. I was doing some shopping in Goodwill, actually, and I think I was buying a mug, a coffee mug, and something in my head, I don't know. I was feeling a little grouchy or something, and I just thought, how about a steaming hot mug of my ass? That's what I just hit in my hand. Then it made me laugh, and I started laughing at the thought. How about a steaming hot mug of my ass? I thought that's going to be my catchphrase, and then I thought I'm going to make a T-shirt of that. So I went home, and I started working on a design, and I typed it all out, and I thought, okay, let's see. I'm going to go to AI, and I went to AI, and I said, I need an image of a kind of a rough-looking dude with a cup of coffee, and AI says, okay. And a few minutes later, there it is, and I was like, what? That's incredible. Now, this guy kind of looked like I don't know. It kind of looked like something from Lord of the Rings, maybe a troll or something. And so I said, can you make it more human, a little more human, less troll-like? So I say he, but AI, it says, sure, here I go. Hold on. And it's thinking, and then boom, comes out. That's what I want. It's got this guy. And so I take that, and I take my typesetting I did, and I put them together. I make the T-shirt design. I upload it onto a T-shirt printer, and then I put it in my store. I have this shirt all completed by the end of the day. This is 2025. This is the time we live in. How would you like a steaming hot mug of my ass? Well, you can get a T-shirt that says that. I'm going to put the T-shirt, it's in my studio store, but I'm going to put it on OuttaToon.com website if you want to buy one. They're cheap. I'm wearing one right now, right this second. I bought it for my birthday. I got a steaming hot mug of my ass for my birthday. So that's what made me laugh this week. What made me sad? Mike Peters of The Alarm going away this week, dying, cancer. That was sad. I've always kind of been an Alarm fan, not as big as I wanted to be. I always had trouble finding the music, but when I could listen to it, I loved it. And I like what he stood for. I liked the band. I liked a lot of their songs, and they looked cool. They sounded cool. They were just a great band. And I hate that he's gone. I watched a couple of documentaries this week, and he was just a super nice guy, cool guy. But we all get old, and we all have to pass on and go to the other places, wherever it is. If it's just underground, then that's a place. It could be like somewhere else. We don't know. Anyway, Mike gone. Sorry. Bye, Mike. Thanks for being a cool guy. I'm going to switch these two around. The thing that challenged me the most this week, I started exercising. I'm not an exerciser, but I did it. I've been doing it every day. And here's the thing. Today I did it, and I didn't hardly break a sweat. I've been dying. It's killing me. Today, it was, I won't say it was a breeze, but it was so much better. And I made a difference. Doing it a while makes a difference. And I stood on the scale. I've lost about 3 pounds. That's what I'm trying to do. Lose the weight, because I can't get rid of the weight. 3 pounds. Come on, really? So I'm doing this for 2 months straight, and I'm kind of told that you can lose a lot of weight that way, but it looks like it might. I don't know if I keep drinking this Guinness, I won't. But that's pretty exciting. So it's a challenge. I challenged myself. So far, I'm meeting the challenge, and it's paying off. All right, the thing that made me feel the most creative. Here we go. I'm a theater person. I was a theater major in school. I've seen a lot of theater in my life, been in a lot of theater, directed some, acted some, watched a lot. And since moving to Atlanta, I think I've watched less. I don't know why. I just hadn't gotten out to a lot of theater, but I've done a little bit and watched a little bit. But my wife has some friends that offered us some tickets to see Atlanta opera production. I'm not an opera person. I've only seen a couple of operas my whole life. I'm not a ballet person at all, but I do like opera. I'd probably go see a ballet, although I might fight a little bit. But, I think it might be okay. Opera, I enjoy opera. The thing I like about opera, I don't care about the music that much, although it impresses me. I know that it's fantastic music, but I feel like the opera set design is better. The scenery is better. It's usually really, really good. And this production, it was no exception. It was fantastic all the way around. Sets, music, actors, lighting, everything was fantastic. But now I've been involved in theater for 40 something years, 45, I don't know. Several years. And I saw what I think was the best performance so far. Isn't that great? You can go this long and you still can see the best thing. So I saw Siegfried, which is one of the installments of Wagner's Ring. Is it a trilogy? I don't know. I think there's 4 of them, right? I don't know what it is. I told you I don't know a whole lot about opera. But Siegfried is one of them, and it's second to last. Their opera company here is doing the last one next year. But this one, it's challenging. 5-hour opera. That's right, 5 hours. Now, that did include the intermission. I think, to be fair, it's probably 4 hours total. That's a long time to sit through an opera. And I was fretting about it. I didn't know if I was going to like doing it. And I got to tell you, it was worth it. And I got to tell you, I'd probably do it again. So here's what I want to say as far as like creative, my favorite creative thing. There was an actor in this particular show. His name is Rodell Rosell. And he is a tenor. I don't know where he's from. I think originally he's from the Philippines. I don't know where he's from here. Maybe New York. I don't know. But he was singing the part of, is it Mime? I always say mime because I used to be a mime, but M-I-M-E, Mime. Holy crap, that guy was good. I don't think I've ever seen a performance better than what that guy did. And everybody was fantastic in the opera, but there was something about that guy. He was just so good. Here's what I learned about opera. I didn't see, again, I got a lot of ignorance about opera, but I didn't realize this. I was watching this and I was like, how is this even possible? These people are singing in German and they're singing in a flawless German, I'm assuming. I don't speak German, so I don't know, but the accents are good. They're just, and it goes on for 4 hours. And some of the people in it, I know German was their native language. There are a couple people who sing in it, and I think they specialize in singing Wagner. But some of them don't, and I just think, how do you do that? So, like, as an actor, I can audition for this part, and I can play a killer, and then I can audition for this part, and I can play a minister. I can audition for this part, and I can play a salesman. You know, it doesn't matter. I could do any of that. And usually the plays are 2 hours, if that, usually less. But these guys, they're doing other languages. They're singing, they got to sing brilliantly for 4 hours. How is that even possible to do a language that's not even yours? And that's what I discovered about opera. These guys, they specialize in certain parts. they have like a repertoire. Then maybe they play like 5, 6 to 10 characters, and they've done those. So the guy who sang the lead in Siegfried has done it 100 times, the same part. And this guy, Rodell Rosell, has played this part like 4 or 5 times in different places all throughout the country. This is like part of his little repertoire. And he gets it down to where he knows it so well. So he's in demand to sing that part. And he goes around singing that same part. Did you know that about opera? If you're an opera person, I guess you do. I didn't know that. But it makes sense. Anyway, that was incredible. And I have a little treat for you. No, I'm not going to sing. I'm not going to sing the part, but I'm going to let you see what I saw. Here's something exciting. If you go to Atlanta Opera Company's website, just look up Atlanta Opera Company, and Friday night's performance, tomorrow night, it depends on when you're listening to this podcast episode. But tomorrow night, you can watch this performance by live stream on their website for free. That's right, for free. Now, you might not want to watch 4 hours, but I'm telling you, this guy that I'm talking about, Rodell Rosell, he's like the first character. He's on immediately. He's the guy. Watch the first 2 acts. It's going to be long. But still, watch the first 2. They're great. But definitely watch that first thing. Go sign in and watch it. You get to watch it free. It's great quality. And you'll see what I'm talking about. This guy's brilliant. That's my little gift to you. Even though I didn't have to do anything but tell you about it. Just go to look up Atlanta Opera and go live stream. I think it starts at 5:30 tomorrow, Eastern Time. Performance, I believe, starts at 6:30, but they've got some, got to hear the music, overture, and all that kind of stuff. Go check it out tomorrow if you can. All right, I've talked a lot. I didn't break down in coughing fits like I thought I was going to. Okay, well, that's good. But I can say goodbye now. Yeah, it's time. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me, all right? And don't forget to play with yourself this week. It's fun.